This entitled aunt is a pathological liar and is about to spin her web of lies to manipulate her niece. You won't believe what crazy things she says to try and get her way. Happy birthday if today's your birthday, and on with the revamped show. First, let me describe the kind of aunt that we have. This aunt, or entitled aunt should I say, of ours has been the source of headache for us as a family emotionally and monetarily. She would always ask my mum and dad for a loan that would take years for her to pay. Where those loans go is one of our biggest questions to date. And whenever my mum or my eldest sister would ask her for the payment, she would always play the "I'm family" card and be all emotional and crap to play on mum's emotions. My mum has a soft spot with her family, and she would most likely let it slide. But not my eldest sister. She would constantly remind and warn my aunt to pay her debts, or she'll do something about it. My aunt would then turn to my mum, asking for protection from my sister, to which my mum would ask to my sister about it. My sister though is not having it, and is just relentless on her pursuit of making my aunt pay her debts. This got to a point where my aunt warned to sue my sister if she doesn't stop, to which my sister openly invited. My sister works in a law firm, so she knows the law and that our aunt has no case at all. Ultimately, our aunt paid, but not without any parting words on how our family are a bunch of rude people and that she would never ever talk to us again and such. But after a month or so, she made up with my mum and everything was well, except for my eldest sister. So for context with the title, my aunt put her house up for sale due to her children moving out. She had 2 daughters who are all married now. Initially, she said that the house was getting too big for me to keep or maintain, and she'd plan on buying a nice condominium near the downtown area. Her house is a 30 to 45 minute drive from downtown. My uncle didn't want her to sell it to someone they do not know, or at least does not have an affinity to, so she suggested to sell the house to a relative or a super close friend. My aunt then talked to my youngest sister. I have 3 sisters and I'm the only guy, and pitched her the idea of buying the house from her. At first, my sister didn't really want to entertain the idea of buying a house at this point in time, as they have 2 kids they are sending to a not so cheap school. But my aunt then pulled the sentimental value card, and that it would be a shame if the house was sold to someone else. Admittedly though, the house did have a sentimental value for us siblings and cousins. We used to spend our summers over there, as it's in a pretty nice neighborhood, and we have friends there as well. A basketball court is fronting the house, which is a win-win situation, since they both have boys and her husband is a good basketball player. My aunt saw this as an opportunity for the boys and her husband to train or whatever. To my aunt's credit, she did have a nice pitch to my sister, so I got to give her that. My sister and her husband decided to buy the house, as they have long planned to have a house of their own. But her husband's grandmother begged them to stay at the current house they're living in, until his grandmother can return back, as she was sorting something out from a different city. So they decided to have it leased until they were ready to move. My eldest sister, who by the way was against all of this, helped with all the contract and legal stuff so they can cover all their bases. The details of the sale aren't really familiar to me, but if my memory serves me right, the house and lot were sold for more or less 1 million pesos. My sister gave my aunt a more than generous amount of time to move out, 6 months. When the time came that everything was moved out, my sister and her husband decided to pay a visit to their recently bought house and see to what extent the renovation would be. And to their surprise, the condition of the house was a literal craphole. The walls and ceilings were falling apart. The tiles on the floor were chipped, or started to get chipped. The main bedroom was a mess, and the kitchen smelled like someone died in there for weeks. Although my aunt did disclose that some renovation work would be needed, she never disclosed that the house was that messed up. But whatever, they decided to have the house renovated and it cost them another 300k. Once the renovation was done, the difference was night and day. As they were not moving into the new house yet, they listed the house for lease on some places, and it garnered a lot of interest. The house was then leased to a foreign couple. The transaction went smoothly with the help of my elder sister once again, and the couple even paid full price for the whole duration of the lease. Everything was as smooth as butter, until yesterday. My sister got a call from the couple who leased the house early in the morning, when she was dropping off the kids to school. This was on a Monday, and my sister is usually super busy on this day, and this was one of those days. She answered the call and the following ensued. Side note, this is all based on my sister's retelling of the events or conversation. It might not be 100% accurate, but I'll try to be as close to it as possible. In the conversation was my sister, nice husband, nice wife, and entitled aunt. Hello NH, haven't heard from you for a long time. May I know why you called? There's someone at the gate claiming that this is her house. Sister was confused. Huh? She just might be a crazy person roaming around the area. Well, no, she showed me pictures of the house and her in it. At this point, my sister kind of knew what was happening, so she hurriedly drove there. She was coming from the different side of town, so it took her about an hour to get there. When she got there, she saw entitled aunt outside screaming to let her in. The neighbors were already out and witnessing the commotion. Entitled aunt sees my sister and hurriedly goes to her. Hey S, they won't let me in, points towards the nice couple. Entitled aunt, what are you doing here? Well, this was once my house. Am I not allowed to enter? What do you mean? I sold you this house, remember? And now I see that someone else is living here. Well, they are leasing the house. What? Why would you lease the house to someone I don't know? Sister getting angry. Because this is my house? I can lease it to whoever I want. At this point, my sister couldn't believe the stupidity of the situation and was kind of getting embarrassed with the neighbors looking on. So she told EA to go inside so they can discuss it. Once they were in the house, my sister introduced EA to the couple who leased the property, and the following ensued. Entitled aunt to the couple. How much did you lease the house for? Excuse me? I said, how much did you pay for the lease? I'm sorry, but we don't see the need of discussing that to you. Why not? Turns to my sister and asks, how much are they paying for the lease? It's none of your business. This is my property and I'm already generous enough to have let you in. What? I sold you this beautiful house and you treat me this way? Looks to the couple again. Was the house sold to you too? Tell me. Look lady, even if we had bought it, we don't need to tell you the specifics since we're not dealing with you. And no, we didn't buy the house. You're a liar, faces my sister. I'll take the house back now. Excuse me? Are you out of your mind? No, I'm not. And it's clear to me that you're an irresponsible homeowner. She takes something from her bag. Here, take this 300,000 pesos and give me back my house. 300,000 pesos? Seriously? Sister slams the money to EA's chest. My sister is fuming at this point. You need to leave my property right now. I won't allow you to disrespect me in front of these nice people. 300,000 when we bought this house from you for 1 million? You can't kick me out of here. This is my house. Sister grabs her phone. I'm calling the cops now. EA then bolts out of there. On her way out, she screamed, I'll come back and take the house. This is not the end of this. After EA was nowhere to be seen, my sister broke down in front of the nice couple. The couple asked her a few details about EA, and they were super understanding. My sister offered to return about 1/4 of the total money they paid for the lease, but the couple said that it's not necessary. Her husband knew what happened and he was furious, to the point where he almost went to the condominium where EA was living, but my sister was able to calm her down before anything bad happened. As of now, my sister and her husband are seeking legal advice from my eldest sister and her firm. It's pretty obvious that the entitled aunt was a complete manipulator, and her motivations become clearer and clearer as it goes along. She likes to take advantage of her family by getting as much money from them as possible, and she tried to use the bait of her house to sucker one of them in to give them a big payday. It seems like what she was basically trying to do was sell one of the family members the house, but still essentially use and therefore keep the house. When she realized that wasn't going to happen, and they were actually using the house however they wanted, including leasing it out to strangers, that's when she reverted to the only thing she knew, entitlement. She still sees it as her house, and therefore she can buy it back for whatever she wants, even if it's for less than half the price that she sold it for. I don't think she's stupid, I think she just literally doesn't care about her family members. And from her perspective, she never really sold the house. All she did was sucker one of them to give them a bunch of money, and she thought 300,000 pesos would be the price to shut them up and get her way again. I hope the family learned their lesson and never lent her any more money. It's only going to cause everyone more harm. So back in December, I was doing what I consider an online job. I use PayPal to load the money onto, and I have the PayPal MasterCard if I want to buy something. EM knows this and decided to use this to her advantage. I am a 14-year-old boy. I was saving up to build my computer, and all of the money was being sent to a special account. Now, she gets food stamps on the 20th and a social security check on the 1st. This was December 29th, basically after Christmas, which I didn't even celebrate. So I left my computer open at my PayPal. I have around $600 saved at the time, and it said, computer fund. She walked in my room without knocking. I hate it when people do that. And this is how the conversation went. Hey, what's that? Nothing, just my bank. She takes a closer look. That's a lot of money. I struck it off and played on my phone. So you know there's not much food in the house? I have an idea where this is going and I turn off the computer. What was that for? The computer doesn't need to be on. It was just wasting electricity and I'm done using it. I was using it. No you weren't. Plus you can't use it without my permission. Yes I can, I'm your mum. So, I bought this computer for $27 on eBay to hold me off while I save for my new computer parts. I'm your mother. Whatever you buy is mine. Now give me your money. What? It just said you have $600. Now give me $300 to get food for the house. No, I work for my money. You sit on your butt and don't leave the house unless it's the 20th and the 1st. Don't talk to me like that, I'm your mother! Using the same freaking comeback for every argument. You being a mum isn't my fault. Either give me the money or you have to leave. Wait, so let me get this straight. If you've never read this post, tiny backstory. My dad got arrested when I was staying with my friend. My mum pressed runaway charges on me because she got upset that my first thought wasn't to take a 2-hour bus ride to her house and live there. Then she got me kicked out of school and forced to live with her. So you're gonna file a false police report to force me to live here, and when I don't want to be your pimp, you're gonna kick me out while it's snowing? No, just give me $300. No, go get a job. You haven't had a real job since I was 1. Yes, I have. A job you went to for 1 day, then never went back, isn't a job, it's a favor you don't get paid for. Shut up and give me your money so your brothers have food to eat. First off, they have food. Second, I'm the only one here that doesn't like the exact same food as them. Okay, if you won't help me, then you aren't gonna eat when I go get food. Let me record you saying that so I can call CPS. You can't be here anymore. I would love to see you call the police. She left the room and I think it goes without saying, the police never came. They probably told her, ma'am, your kid not giving you money he earned isn't an emergency. It's common for some parents to think that their kids owe them something because they were the ones that raised them and gave them so much when they were kids. But it's simply different from when you actually do a service for another adult, like when you work a job or you have a contract with somebody else. When you have a kid, you have the responsibility of raising them. The child hasn't consented to being born. Now this 14-year-old kid has worked hard on his online job and earned himself some extra money. It's not his responsibility to support and raise his siblings, or his mother. Taking the money from the kid would be stealing, as it doesn't belong to the mother and it doesn't belong to the family. It belongs to the one who earned it, the kid. First, a little backstory. If anyone here has a DSi, you'll know that the left and right trigger buttons and the charging port can break quickly. And a DSi with both of those in factory new condition can run someone from $100 to $300. My DSi was in factory new condition. Now the story. I had planned to meet my friends at the mall. We'd play some games and see a movie. As my house was walking distance from the mall, I had come a little early. I set up my DSi and start playing Mario Kart. As I progress, I see some eyes on my shoulder. A kid is watching me. He asks a few questions about the console. What is that? I also love Mario. It's a DSi. It's a console from a decade ago. Can I try it? Sure, which game? No Super Mario. Here you go. EK runs to his mum to see what he found, and says that I gave it to him for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes is over, I get the DSi, but the mum and the kid stop me, saying it's theirs. I get mad. Sorry, but I'll have to call the security if you do not give my console back. I'm an adult and you're a kid. I'm 15 at the time of this story. I'm protecting you. Some other customers also demanded EM give my DSi back. At last, 2 security guards come in. Hello, this kid stole my son's console. Please arrest him. Okay, we'll have to look at a few things first. Can both of you show me your ID cards? EM and I get out our ID cards. Security guard over the radio. Can you look at the food court cameras 10 minutes to now? At this point, the security guard asks for the DSI, as he knew there'd be a DSI profile. Ma'am, the DSI profile doesn't show you or your kid's name. The name written is censored. And also the photos are the accused kid's photos, taken years before. At this moment, I'm going to have to wait for the CCTV output from the radio. Yeah, there's a kid giving a DSI to another kid. The one giving the DSI is older. He never receives it back. Security guard on the phone. Hello, this is the police station. Yes, we'll need an officer in Terrace Park. Thank you. Ma'am, please wait until the police come. At this time I realized that the charging port was broken. I also see a micro USB cable in the kid's hand. The kid had tried to put a micro USB in the DSI charging port. The EM gets arrested and I get the chance to test my console. What do I see? Broken left and right buttons that only work every 3 button presses. I think the general principle from now on should be, if a kid's asking to use your gaming console, just say no. It's probably not worth the risk. Unless it's close family or friends that you know and trust, it's probably not going to be worth the hassle. Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.